Air traffic staffing has been a widely discussed topic recently. In an effort to educate our members on how ATC staffing works and what has been going on to increase our staffing numbers, NATCA New England Regional Vice President Mick Devine and the leadership team compiled a list of questions from our New England members. A few days ago, I sat down on a video call with NATCA President Rich Santa to ask our members questions. Thank you very much, Rich, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to discuss air traffic controller staffing with me.
Yes, thank you, Shannon. And I want to say the communication committee from NACA has been a real asset for us to update the membership on, the issues that affect our controllers nationwide. It's real valuable, and I appreciate all the work you're doing.
Air traffic controller staffing issues across the United States have been widely covered. As you know, there's a lot of energy, mixed messaging, and even anger over this issue. For those out there that don't know or don't understand, can you explain how air traffic controller staffing works?
Yes, I can. Staffing is an important topic, and our membership has every right to be concerned. We're in critically staffed posture throughout the NAS. Our 6-day work weeks, 10-hour days should not be the norm. Unfortunately, through the controller workforce plan, that's how Congress gets the information, the accurate information of our staffing, and the needs of our 313 facilities. Unfortunately, right now, that is reported by FA Finance. It's done farcically. It's not a sincere look at what our facilities have and need because it's done based on budgetary constraints. If it worked last year, the budget model says it can work this year with even less people. That model has contributed to 1,200 less certified professional controllers now than we had 10 years ago. The controller workforce plan that's presented to Congress needs to be transparent and traceable, and it needs to be collaborative numbers derived from the professionals that actually are working in the facilities. That means NACA and the Air Traffic Organization.
Can you tell me a little bit about the negotiations through the collaborative resource work group that just went through?
Absolutely. One of the priorities as president, listening to the membership, was to update the 8-year-old collaborative resource work group numbers. Those numbers were stale. They didn't accurately identify the needs of our members at the facilities. They didn't take into account new vacation destinations, new flight schools, new cargo operations, and really the ever-evolving changes of the aviation industry. So it was a priority of mine to start updating those collaborative resource work group numbers. It was a challenging, very difficult process to get that mandate collaboratively negotiated through my counterparts. But last November we did, and the teams got together and updated all of our 313 facility numbers based on surveys, really robust and transparent and traceable modeling, so that every facility should have accurate numbers to today for their needs and staffing of certified professional controllers.
If we've gone through this whole process, why have the new staffing numbers not been implemented yet?
Well, like I said before, the controller workforce plan is the plan that's reported to Congress so that they can appropriate funds, so that they can make accurate determinations on needs of the NAS and of our membership. That number right now, for the first time ever, we got our real numbers in there, but they're in an appendix with the old FA Finance numbers. It's incumbent upon us, and you saw it in NACA in Washington, our ask for FA reauth is to ensure by law and FA reauth that the number getting reported to Congress, the traceable, transparent number reported to Congress, is our number, our collaboratively determined CRWG number.
You touched just a second on the NACA in Washington. So recently, a large number of air traffic controllers went to Washington, D.C. They spoke with their legislators. Can you explain why they do this and why they need to do this, and what might we see introduced into the legislation with the FAA reauthorization?
What an important ask. It was such a valuable event. We've been laying the foundation. I meet with senators and representatives literally every week to discuss FA reauth. But to have the force of our activists come with a very specific ask of getting that language in FA reauth that says the controller workforce plan shall include our collaboratively determined CRWG numbers. That ask, seemingly so simple, was met with a very positive response it was bipartisan. And it's so immensely valuable for the monumental transformational shift to permanence of our staffing issues. For the first time ever, we've seen the markups. We are in the House and the Senate markups of the CRWG. That is a transformational shift for our staffing issues as air traffic controllers.
So where do we go from here? What happens in the meantime while we wait for FAA reauthorization to be passed?
Well, right now, my counterpart and I in the ATO have already negotiated and already worked toward maximum hiring for the next 4 years. That's 6,900 controllers going through the academy, and that's the interim. That's the interim fix to get more and more new hires into the system. But to get that permanence in FA reauth so that we don't have to go through cyclical ups and downs of staffing, it's valuable, it's important, and it's required for the health of the nest, taking into account all of the complexities that we have with new entrants, commercial space launches, more cargo operations. Aviation is thriving. So it's important that we have the short-term fix and the midterm fix of our negotiations and collaboration to get maximum hiring, but the long-term permanence of FA reauth to require the CWP to have our CRWG numbers. I know I'm using a lot of acronyms there, but to have those in there, it's invaluable for us, and it means long-term permanence for our staffing issues.
There have been some concerns among our members in relation to our transfer process, the NSEP process, with the new staffing numbers being so much higher at many facilities. Will those old staffing numbers continue to be used, or are we going to jump right in and kind of put a halt to transfer processes?
I understand the concerns because I've heard the concerns and they make sense. To immediately make every facility red with these new numbers, it's not the desire of the program. It's not the desire of the numbers. I think we've directed a team to resolve those issues, work on those issues, whether it's a staged in implementation or a mandatory amount of movements. I truly believe the team can work through those and collaborate something that works for the system and for our membership. But more importantly, right now, we're still using the old numbers. We are still hiring, max hiring, but until we get that permanence in the controller workforce plan, we will put no movement towards those changes because that is what our membership is still, without the permanence, is expecting, and that's what NATCA expects to be followed. This is years in the making. The strategies and the tactics and the techniques and getting industry behind us and meeting with COOs and meeting with legislators has all brought us to this point. This is a tactical process that with a combination of, or the culmination of, we're going to actually get the transparent, repeatable numbers in the hands of Congress for the first time ever. And that's the value of that cannot be overstated.
Thank you very much, Rich, for meeting with me and answering my questions. And I look forward to seeing the legislation passed in the upcoming months.
I appreciate it. I thank you for your time. And
I hope you found this Q&A series with NATCA President Rich Santa educational and informational, and I hope it answered a lot of the questions that are out there.